Hey, we're on.
Huh.
Still no editing, but we're here.
Are you gonna cut out the front of this?
What do you mean? No, how?
Oh,
No, this is
okay.
fine.
Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
Nah, man, this is magic. That's how we do it until we get a new
Editing suite.
software. Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, just remind me and I'll send some more.
I mean, listen.
Like I'll send some other versions and see if it works.
because I have one, but it's the audio's out of sync.
Okay.
Anyway, hey everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to A Crep from the 80s, and I'm here again with Casey and one of my cats, Freya, wanting to get on my lap, but I don't want her to. Anyway, this one is going to be a little bit of a free-for-all, I guess. We do have one subject that we are going to talk about, but I think everything else is going to be just throw it at the wall kind of thing. Sort of like a podcast, like we used to do with Gourmet Scum.
Okay.
We'll just talk some shit, but I do have.
I mean, there's 80s stuff. Like all my list is.
Yeah, well, that's what
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is for sure.
Okay.
You know, that is 80 centric. Finally.
Well, you know what's funny is like you guys, gals, people, whatever. Like I was watching like the latest episode, and I was like, okay, let me see what these numbers are like. And they were low at first, but then they got up to like where we normally are, and I'm like, okay, well apparently no one really gives too much of a shit that we're not talking about the 80s.
Yeah.
Like I was a little worried, but no, the numbers were online. So thank you guys for watching
And it's getting there.
commenting.
It's getting there. Our subscriber numbers are also going up.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, new people,
you know,
old
this
people.
channel's a variety of shit. Yes, there's 80s, but there's also movie stuff and toy stuff and general movie stuff and geek stuff and yeah, I mean it's all over the place.
Yeah.
And you know, we appreciate.
Hey,
you.
we talk about the 80s every episode. That is a fact,
yeah,
regardless.
Yeah. And this one is 80 centric. This is we're gonna do a couple. We're gonna do some episodes here and there called like the things that made us. You know, like the pop culture that made us.
Yeah.
You know, you've got that show on Netflix, the toys that made us, the movies that made us. I thought it would be cool. Like, well, what about us? What made
about
us?
these guys?
What? Yeah, it's just anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Anybody with a channel can do it. It's just
Yeah.
like, what are the things that made us become who we are as humans? And because my formative entire childhood was in the 80s, those are the things. That pop culture is what made me who I am today. So we'll be talking about a couple of things like that, you know?
Yeah.
But I do want to say quickly, well, maybe not quickly, but I want to thank the people who took the time to watch the documentary
Oh yeah.
Zero Budget Heroes,
Yeah.
The Legend of Chris Seaver and Lobo Adventures. Zach Oliveris, if you guys don't know, Zach Oliveris is a filmmaker from Seattle, and about 3 years ago he wanted to make a documentary about me and the history of my filmmaking and the people that helped me make the movies, and it was doing the film fest thing, and but it finally played its last film festival a couple days ago in LA.
Yep.
And the festival also offered it up for free
To watch online. Yeah.
so you could go to it and you could watch it online for free, and I guess a lot of people watched it online. It's been getting lots of great notices and reviews. I have been getting messages from people saying how much they enjoyed it and how inspiring it was, and you know, and I'm like, thank you, of course, but also tell Zach this is his film.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I get it. I understand. I am the subject
You're
of
the
this
subject
documentary.
matter, yeah.
But Zach, I had nothing to do with it outside of being the subject. Zach Oliveris, he.
Well, can't say that because
I mean, I guess promoting it.
promoting it, and also he had to get a lot of archival footage from you.
Well, yeah, I mean, Yeah.
He also asked your feedback. It wasn't just like, hey man, here's this documentary. Like, you were involved.
Well,
All of us
I
were
mean, I
involved
didn't
in
know
some
what he
little
was
way.
gonna.
No, not the end product, but I'm just saying, like, you're not completely like just a talking head in a random documentary about you.
No, I mean, obviously he had to, consult.
That's all I'm saying.
Which is what I would assume everyone does when they're making a documentary. But I mean, I just mean like I didn't,
It's his movie.
This was his
It's
movie.
his movie, 100%.
He put the blood, sweat, and tears, and the money, and the time, and the editing, and all of that stuff. That's Zach, and
thank you, Zach.
he did a great job.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate people watching it and enjoying it. There is a letterboxd.com or whatever it is, letterbox.org. I don't know what it is, but it's Letterbox. It's a website where people can go review movies.
Yeah.
But it's up there, and people have been reviewing it there. So if you want to go to Letterboxd and give it a review, I mean, I guess it's on IMDb as well, so you could review it there if you have seen it. But yeah, I do appreciate it. It's awesome. I'm excited for the next thing because he, now he can really sort of get it out there through streaming and physical media. And I know he's planning both of those. I don't know when he's doing that, but I do know it's coming. I know he has put together a bunch of supplemental material.
Has he put together a 5-minute sizzle reel for it?
For the doc?
Yeah. I'm not saying why, but I'm saying for that thing.
Well, it wouldn't be for the doc. He did put together a 3-minute thing for me.
Okay.
Now I'm just waiting on the Wellsville Nights.
Okay. That's what I mean.
But the other one, yes, he did.
Okay.
Cool.
We're being cryptic.
Yeah, so I don't know when it's going to come out, but it's awesome that it's finally in that stage. So fans will be able to see it this year.
Yeah.
Who didn't get to see it and get to own it. And so that's exciting.
I look forward to it being on my shelf.
Yeah. An actual copy.
Yeah.
I know. I think
Sweet
he had mentioned that he was even going to toy with putting the longer cut on there as like a bonus as well.
For the
like 2.5 hour one.
He should. That's the stuff we watch when we watch a doc. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you can give me the 1.5 one, but I also want the 4 to 8 hour version, depending on the the documentary.
So
cool.
So that first cut that we saw at the 30th anniversary of LVP a few years ago, that would be like the 2.5 hour cut.
Sweet.
So maybe there's a chance that you guys get to see that has extra. It's got some more juicy goodness in there.
There really is.
But yeah, that's super sweet, guys. Thank you. Also, a couple days ago, over the weekend, I launched another 2-week sale. Just real quick, 2 weeks. If you guys want to get some of my flicks, I got a Blu-ray sale going on. It's $15 each, or you can get
a bundle.
13 Blu-rays with 23 movies on them for $120 shipped.
Jeez.
In the U.S. If you want to get them foreign, those bundles usually go about $25 to $30 extra to send overseas, which really sucks. But if you're willing to pay it, I will ship.
That's what I tell other people about the comics. I'm like, you want to pay it? I'll send it to you. Yeah. It just shipping costs suck. Everything does high, but yes.
So the LBP Warlock sale, 2-week sale, will go on until I believe the first Monday of February or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But also, real quick, I was just recently added as a guest to Tampa Bay Screams. It's a horror convention in Tampa, Florida. I have never sold at a convention in Florida before, so this is cool. This is exciting. It'll be cool to see if we get some new fans.
What are the dates?
April 14th and 15th.
Yeah.
It's a Friday and Saturday. They're not doing a Sunday. And that is out in Tampa, Florida. And I will be there, along with J.R. Bookwalter. He will also be out there.
So they were like, here's a table, come as a guest?
They
Or did you...
They were talking through Clint
Oh,
for some reason, and Clint kept relaying all this stuff to me, like, "Hey,
why don't you just talk to me?"
They were like, "You want to give you a table if you want." I was like, "Well, he can talk to me."
Yeah.
So I did end up talking to the people, and
that'd be cool.
It'll be interesting.
I've never been to Tampa.
I mean, it's it's Florida,
but I mean, like, I don't know if the crowd, like I've had a couple friends, obviously Clint too, but like friends down in Florida who do cons, like MegaCon and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's MegaCon. There's also Spooky Empire.
Yeah,
and stuff like that, which are huge.
And they do good.
I think this is probably the equivalent of like a
Cinema Wasteland
type
it seems
in Florida,
but not that. Hey, that's fine too.
No, I know,
especially since you don't.
But again,
you've never been there.
Yeah, it's an area that we have never sold at. I don't know what fans are going to come out of the woodwork to see little old Sievage at this fest. But Tampa Bay Screams, if you're in the Florida area and
are they gonna show movies
close? I don't know what they do.
Screens?
I would assume they do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, for your stuff. It'd be
cool. They didn't. No, I mean, we'll just have a table.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Maybe fun.
But yeah, should be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. What else is going on, man? I do.
It's a lot of housekeeping.
What?
Like we don't usually do housekeeping. Like housekeeping.
So what was I gonna say? Oh, so I do have a list of episodes that I want to do coming up, and a lot of them are 80s centric.
Mm-hmm.
And we will get to them. And I know I keep getting asked about new tours
of your room.
Yeah, because every year I do like an update tour
yeah.
For the 80s room and the movie room.
Yep.
And yes, I will be doing those. That is coming. I'm just waiting on a few things before I do it.
Like to come in, you mean?
Yeah. Also, I want to do some more toy videos, which are coming up, and I'm waiting on a few things. Apparently, so Katie got me some stuff for Christmas.
Yeah.
That is finally shipping.
Oh, okay.
I know how that goes. So some of that stuff is coming in.
Yeah.
And I wanted to wait for that. But I want to do a modern toy based on 80s toy line. And show off some stuff. Yeah. I figured I'd open these on
camera?
On the video.
Okay.
Just to see, so everyone can see for the first time if they're going to be broken or not.
I was just gonna say this is a gamble.
So Hasbro has put out lovingly
for the 40th anniversary
of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Yeah.
Which is a wonderful cartoon, something that Casey and I both enjoy.
It's a great cartoon.
Yeah. I do finally own the full, complete series on DVD, thanks to Sean Pinkerton. Thank you. But yes, it was a cartoon that I watched growing up in the 80s, and it's a fun cartoon. And Hasbro made toys based on that cartoon and the visage of those cartoons. And they got more characters there, and I would assume there's going to be a Wave 2 line.
Oh, yeah.
So we can get all of the characters, and
depending on the quality control
issues. So apparently,
this guy specifically,
these figures are having some QC issues when they're being opened. As broken limbs and heads and things of that nature.
Yeah.
You try to move the bits around.
The joints are popping
and they're popping. And obviously, if you are a toy collector, you know that sometimes you just gotta throw your toys in hot water and let them be malleable
Or get
to
the
do that.
blow dryer off to
Yeah.
fit some
Yeah.
hand in a peg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect to it. And then there's people, because of Hasbro's new packaging, because they're trying to, cut the plastic a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's no bubble. You don't really get to see broken pieces in the bubble anymore. So people are opening these and then they've got
Screwed.
broken toys.
Yeah.
And apparently whoever's running the customer service at Hasbro is doing a terrible job. And when people are saying, hey, send me my new figure, they're sending completely different figures. They're not sending, like, hey, give me my Dungeons and Dragons figure, and they're sending, like, Transformers or something like that.
What?
Yeah, it's...
Here's your Wolverine.
Yeah, yeah. So, there's some craziness going on over there. And let me say this. I don't think that, like, the people who are head folk responsible for the property making these items at Hasbro intend for you to get broken things.
No.
That is not their intention.
Right.
Everyone has good intentions making this stuff. It's just because of where these toys are made, because of maybe the plastic that they're using now, the quality control is lackluster. And I'm not like a lot of toy collectors. I don't get bent out of shape about these types of things. If I can glue it, I'm okay with that. For the most part, I put them in a pose, I display, and then that's it. I don't really go back and try to repose and do things like that. I have them for display. I don't really keep them in packages anymore at all.
Right.
Either. So I don't care what the packaging is, if it's plastic or if it's cardboard. I don't care.
Like the new from the movie, they're plastic. Like you can see those. Really?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I just saw people who.
I mean, all of the Marvel stuff, like.
Oh, they switched over.
This is new.
A lot of them are switched over.
No, you're right. Yeah, the new
and
Spider-Man did
Star Wars.
Huh?
Remember that?
I guess I just
you got a boxed Mandalorian.
I guess I didn't think about
Fett
it
or something like that.
Right.
Some of them they're still keeping. Like I know, like with the,
like the Wakanda Forever, but those toys were made like probably years ago.
Yeah, but like so for Kenner, Hasbro, they still do the vintage Star Wars line, so you do get the bubble wrap. I mean the bubble package.
Yeah.
The retro line is still bubble package, because they're keeping with an aesthetic.
Right.
But 6-inch, 7-inch figures, I think they're all going this way, and it doesn't bother me again because I open anyway.
Right.
So I am gonna, I'm gonna open these up and see what happens right here with you.
Just open up one of them.
Nah,
I don't trust this. Yeah, Hasbro is on a lot of shit lists right now because of all the Dungeons and Dragons stuff anyway. With the gaming and
Oh yeah?
yeah.
Why? What's wrong with the gaming?
So they created this thing called an open gaming license where you're allowed to use the base of Dungeons and Dragons, but they're really mad about people making money. Some campaigns make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and Hasbro wants that money. So they decided to, I'm not going to go into it too much. There's other YouTube channels that are going to explain it way better than I will, but basically, they kind of pissed off a lot of people in the gaming community, and a lot of people are leaving Dungeons and Dragons mass, like exodus, from that gaming mechanic.
Okay,
and that looks fine, but again,
yeah,
that's My Little Pony.
Here's Uni from the cartoon, and it comes with Bobby's club.
So they come in these little things.
And a die. Yeah,
Like
comes in these little
Chinese
tissue.
food
Tissue.
packages. Interesting.
Magicians turn this into fire.
Okay. Well, let's see. See
So
Bobby.
let's see Bobby. Let's see if we got
Bobby
a
B.
broken head. Broken
Just be
hand.
very careful.
Yeah. But again, you know, if I can glue,
But you're just gonna go and take it and just go boop. Maybe put the club in his hand.
yeah, I'll maybe put the club in his
Yeah.
hand. That's
I'm
about
the
it.
same way.
So
you know.
I will probably put them in some water
Yeah.
just to make sure.
Well, he's alive.
Okay.
It's a shame because
Oh yeah.
it's a cool looking figure. Like the joints and everything. Like
It is.
they.
So it is tight.
Yeah.
I see that. So I'm not gonna do anything yet.
Yeah.
But
It
I
looks.
gotta say,
It looks good.
it's a very good looking figure.
Yeah. At
And
that scale and that articulation.
The adaptation from cartoon to toy
Yeah.
is pretty awesome. So I'm just gonna
I will say their
this
sculpting
guy in water.
has jumped up, and I think it's because, honestly, if I had a theory, it's because of McFarlane. Because
Yeah.
McFarlane is out there offering figures now, you know, still $20 to $25, as Hasbro's jumped up to 25 to 30, or like this Spider-Man figure that I want to 39, which I'm not gonna pay for.
I'm gonna get the those Avatar toys.
So
They're pretty
I'm
dope.
gonna wait when he does another of his Todd Father massive sales, because what he does is like he did a ton of them Christmas, like Black Friday, Christmas time, where it's like you buy this and you get like 2 extra figures, or everything's 50% off of the site. So I will get them because I'll say this: those Avatar figures online do not do justice. Like I saw them in the store and I
Yeah.
was like, this looks
They look
great.
great. They were awesome. So
Yeah.
this is a sweet.
Dungeon Master board. The screen, DM screen. That's cool. That's really cool.
And so that you can display, it's right from the cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a
that
fun
on the
one.
back.
Yep.
This will be awesome to display.
It's your new DM screen if you wanted, so no one can see your tasty bit.
Comes with that. Okay.
See, I haven't heard as much bad things about these ones. It's really just Bobby and me that give it issues.
Okay. So we've got the Dungeon Master.
Well, see, I don't know about that.
See, I'm not
Hand
gonna.
backward.
I'm not gonna mess with this
Don't
until
do
I
it.
drop it.
Yeah, don't do it.
But again, I mean, look at that.
Hey, it looks great.
It's the cartoon,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah, they look awesome. I hope they start. I bought that one toy from them a couple years ago. Their Drizmerge, you know, that elf guy that's in their books and everything. Is he a part?
No, it's just extra.
Oh, just
extra
extras.
hands.
Okay.
So here is Vengar.
It's a big ass toy. There you go.
Okay.
Huh?
And he comes with
Is that paper? Here?
it's paper right here.
Okay.
This is
Yeah,
plastic.
yeah.
He comes with extra hands so that he can do his dark magics.
Do.
And I will also be putting these in hot water
Yeah.
to make them malleable.
Yep.
But again,
He looks good.
fucking great sculpt,
Yeah.
guys. You know, so far so good. Nothing broke in.
They
package.
look. Yeah, that's true. What's the last?
This is the. Oh, it's his wing.
Oh,
nice.
All right. Well, that's not gonna break, so that's fine. That's cool.
More accoutrements. So here's the wings that you plug into him in the back.
How much was this? This is 40.
This was 50, I think.
50. Okay.
Straight from
Hasbro.
Hasbro.
Okay. that looks good. Yeah.
Again, I won't
Do anything.
push them in too far. And then the little, they all come with dye, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's fun. Ooh, okay. Big ass a D20. And a little D100. Okay, that's cool.
Fun. Really, really
I mean,
like
those. They look good. They look better than I thought they were gonna look.
Now I feel a little more comfortable getting the other two, which I did see in Target the other day.
Yeah, Target's got them all.
And I didn't pick them up because I just wanted to, just wanted to see.
Make sure they weren't gonna
Just
fall
wanted
apart.
to see, but I like that. That's good.
Yeah, that looks
That'll be
very
an awesome,
good.
That'll be an awesome display for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. All right. So
Good.
yeah, I will when we do the episode because listen, Casey has a bunch of toys as well, and
I got a few.
I think we got to show off some of these toys and the toys that we love so much, and
The toys that made us.
yeah.
Well, to your point though, we both have a lot of 80s recreated toys as well of the stuff we grew up with. So
Yeah. And I also have a lot of vintage stuff,
you do.
which I will show off as well.
Mm-hmm.
And do like, side by sides. This was
Old
the
versus
old,
the
this is the
new.
new,
Yeah.
whatnot. So yeah, that is coming. There's a lot of stuff. Believe me. I've said before, it's sometimes I just don't like doing these videos alone. Because I love
to play off of.
I just like, I love bouncing off of people and getting their, where they're coming from, and I like it. And everyone's busy; they've got their lives, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
So we'll do some that's just me. I know people like when I go through my movie collection and stuff like
they're
that.
gonna want that for sure.
Well, they've asked.
I'm sure they have.
Hey, are you gonna update your movie collection
Yeah.
and show up? Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do
I've
it.
gone to this 8-disc Frightener set, and here's every disc.
It's 4.
It's
Is
I
it
got
8?
an 8.
It might be 8. I don't know.
I can't.
I gotta
maybe
look through
it's
it
4.
again.
I can't remember.
I gotta show that off. But so anyway, let's talk about some of the things that made us who we are as human beings today.
Well, how do you want to do it?
Creatures. I mean, if you wanna,
I'll do whatever you want. I have categories written down
why
on
don't
all
we
the
do?
things.
Yeah, why don't we do like one thing from each category?
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
and then we'll just kind of talk about it and why it shaped us, and
Okay.
So point of reference. 77. I was born in 77.
Yeah.
You're
81.
81. So there's a 4-year difference,
There's a couple 90s things.
which is fine because there's some 90s stuff that also
Yeah.
made me who I
Though
am.
we should do some more It Crap from the 90s. I know you loved it.
Hey man,
I know.
I'll do
Well,
it.
hey, things are changing for me. Thank the gods. So,
I mean, I'll do whatever, man.
yeah, I would like to. All right. Well, what do you want to start with? Category.
Just start.
Okay.
Start with whatever.
Well, since I have it written down first, I'll start with toys.
Okay.
Ninja Turtles. I mean, to this day, I am forever a Raphael fan, forever a Turtles fan. I have watched every. I know you haven't. I don't think, right?
What?
Like
Every
every
show?
incarnation of it.
No.
Okay.
I'll say this: I've given each one a shot,
Okay. Yeah.
even the new one.
Rise.
Yeah.
Did you watch that one on Netflix?
I didn't watch the movie, but I did watch episodes.
I'd watch it.
Uh,
I tell everybody who gives a shit, like, I was shocked because I had watched maybe the first episode and I remember being like, this is okay, but I don't super care. Like, it's not really for me. And then people were like, you gotta watch this. So I was like, okay, let me try it. And I loved it. It was very, very, like, the fights were very anime. Like, they were using magical powers plus turtle power. It was like, it was just bonkers. And I accepted it for the fact that it was going to be bonkers.
My issue, I think, is the design.
Yeah, well, that's when I didn't like it, but the
Design-
core was still there.
I liked the voice work
Mm-hmm.
because I did watch the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
Because when that came out, River was still
Yeah.
collecting toys.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot.
Right.
And I liked the voice work. I just the aesthetic, the design was just not working for me.
Right.
So I certainly will. I would watch the movie. I have no problem watching.
Will you
the
watch
movie.
the new movie? I'm sure you will.
I will, but I really need to see a trailer. I saw the stills, but I need to see a trailer.
I have a feeling, I don't know why, but have you seen anything from this? I'm sure you don't give a shit. Puss in Boots. Have you
As far
seen
as,
some
like,
of the
the animation?
animation?
So I saw that it was different.
The only stills that we've seen from this new Turtles looked like that, where it was a mix of like watercolor with like that Into the Spider-Verse, and I saw a scene from Puss in Boots that I go, if they do this at Turtles, like it was like an Attack on Titan scene. He's like on this rooftop and there's this giant and he's like flipping and jumping and like doing all these crazy moves, and I was like, could you imagine the fucking Turtles on rooftops just doing this? Like, so I got really jazzed about the idea.
Yeah, I gotta see a trailer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being an anticipated film for me.
I hope so.
But I will say I would rather have live action, and
Of
I hope
course.
we're still getting that.
I hope
So apparently, we're supposed to.
So there's 3 things Turtles wise. There's the Seth Rogen animated movie.
Yeah, which is coming in August.
There's another show, cartoon show.
Didn't know that.
And then there is maybe something live action.
There's a live action movie that is supposedly being written by the Jost brothers. Colin Jost from SNL and his brother.
Who's Colin Jost? Like, what is
He's
he written?
Weekend Update.
Okay.
He's married to Scarlett Johansson.
All right. I mean, what has he written though? Like, is he like a good? I don't know.
He's funny,
Okay.
but apparently he and his brother are massive
Turtles
Teenage Mutant
fans?
Ninja fans.
Okay.
They've got pictures on the web from them when they were kids, and they're dressed up as the Ninja Turtles and shit like that. And they were hired by Paramount to
do a
write
live action.
a live action
Alright.
movie.
Hey,
And
man.
that was announced
last year.
year.
Last year. Yeah. I guess I didn't know who was writing it, but yeah.
Yeah. So,
But
you know,
long story short, Turtles definitely shaped me. Love the Turtles. Watched the movie more times than I can count, and I've continued to. Other than the rise, I've bought a lot of the toys as well throughout the years, and even now, like Last Ronin is huge. It was a huge success publication wise. Now they're doing a sequel comic series set in that time, and it's a good time. I love being a turtle. it's
yeah,
Turtle Mania.
See, I don't want to talk too much about it because I want to do a turtles centric.
Oh, okay.
Episode.
Sorry, yeah, we can do
But that is
that'd
definitely,
be great.
you know,
Yeah, that'd be
yes, I agree.
Okay.
Turtles is definitely
Turtles
it's one of the things that also shaped me. But we will
great. Okay. What were you guys?
long overdue to
Yeah.
do a turtles episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've never even did one for
We didn't.
Gourmet Scum. We never did a turtles.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fucking property
love
that's
turtles.
from 1984.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why haven't we done it yet? So we'll get there this year.
We will
Don't
do
worry
it.
about it. So that was a toy.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you.
Sure, I know what yours.
What, Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars. Star Wars toys. Kenner's Star Wars toy. They definitely are a toy that made Chris Siever.
Yeah.
They are the first major action figure toy that I had growing up. Probably I got my first around Empire Strikes Back. Really cognizant of them in '81, where I started to get everyone was
Like
just buying
inundated
Star Wars toys. Well, as we've talked about, like I think if you're a kid you know, if you were born in the 70s and you're growing up in that time, fuck. Like
I don't know if there was any way to avoid Star Wars.
There wasn't. There wasn't. And it just was
Yeah.
amazing and everything. And
Yeah.
it was everything to me. But I will say, and we're going to talk about this a little later, because this also happens to be, Casey, the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi.
I know.
This year.
I know.
And we'll do
an episode.
Yeah,
'cause
we will
that's
do
both
an
of Chris's
episode.
favorite, Chris and my favorite Star Wars.
Oh, we
film.
will 100%
So, yeah,
do an
we'll do that.
episode, as well as other 40th anniversaries that are
Mhm.
happening this year. But so those toys, those Kenner Star Wars toys, were fucking everything to me, and I think as far as who I am now as a person, it 100% helped creating that imagination for me. Really taking something from the screen and being able to play with it.
Yeah.
and
Recreate. the
yes,
scenes.
recreate, but
Yeah.
also come up with your own
Yeah.
scenes, come up with your own scenarios. You know, once 82, 83 hits, I start getting into Masters of the Universe. But I didn't stop playing with Star Wars. All I did was start playing with Star Wars with my Masters of the
Yeah.
Universe. And things like that happened. Cross-pollination with the
Right.
toys. But it was Star Wars toys, Kenner Star Wars toys,
Through and through.
that 100% helped shape who the Sievage is to this day.
You know what's really weird? I just thought about it. I really didn't have a lot of Star Wars toys growing up. And even now, I do not own... I own Hot Toys. But as far as, like, figures go, like, I was into the Black Series for a hot minute, and I got a
when
bunch
you
of
were
figure
growing
arts.
up,
I mean, I didn't say it. Mine is Masters of the Universe, but we'll talk about
Yeah,
it
yeah,
in
yeah.
later episodes.
yes. But when you were
Yeah.
growing up, they were already going out.
Maybe that's it.
So by the time you were coming of age to where you could like really
like
remember
4 or
and shit like
5,
that,
it's already past it.
like
Yeah.
once 85 hits, that line is dying.
Yeah, well
You
then,
know?
yeah. That's
And
it.
then comes in Mask and shit like that.
Yeah,
and
which I...
the Horde.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But Star Wars was you
Yeah.
know.
Huh.
So
It's crazy. I mean, movies, there's so many.
yeah, but that's what's great about the subject.
I know, it's just...
It's a movie that made you, Casey.
I'll say
That
this.
helped shape
I'll-
you as a human being.
Okay, I'll give you this one. You know, there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I think I've told this story before, but the day I was supposed to go to our local amusement park, Darien Lake. My whole family's going. I've never been there before, and I was sick. I don't remember how old I was. Whenever Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out, you probably know the year.
88.
Okay, so I was puking, and my Aunt Debbie stayed back with me while everyone else went off to Darien Lake. And about mid-afternoon, I started feeling better, and she's like, what do you want to do? I want you to feel better. Everyone's having fun. And she's like, you want to go to the movies? And I remember going through the paper and seeing it, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever. And I was like, this is what I want to do. So we went and saw Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I remember being like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, how does this exist? You know what I mean? And I would say probably, even though I love movies, blah, 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 but there's certain movies we've talked about too, where it was like, this is it. Like, I want to do something in this world. I want to do this. You know what I mean? Or I want to see more of how they do this. And, I didn't know who Robert Zemeckis was. And, maybe I'd seen Back to the Future at that age, probably. But even still, like, that was just, it's cartoons plus live action.
Yeah.
So it was insane. And, the more I watched that movie as an adult, like, the shit you guys did, like, it is... I still think Who Framed Roger Rabbit holds up, cinematically speaking.
For people who don't know, we are cousins.
Oh.
Our fathers are brothers.
Yeah.
So we grew up together. I've known Casey since he was born.
Yeah.
as long as I've known you, this is interesting. You have loved animation.
Oh yeah,
Loved it.
for sure.
So I'm wondering, why didn't you ever like try to pursue going into that field in some way?
It's very time consuming. And
That's why
unlike
I don't
you,
play D&D.
I can't draw. You know what I mean? Like I can't do those things. It's a lot easier to pick up a camera and tell your friends do the thing that I want you to do, as opposed to me like learning to draw. And I tried, of course I tried when I was a kid, but like I just don't do it. But stop motion animation I did a lot of in middle school and high school and even a little bit in college, because for whatever reason I have extreme patience for that type of animation. I love stop motion.
Yep.
So
I also do. There's no way that I would do it.
oh, I love it. I love that. In watching those like watching what Leica does and like that kind of shit, where it's like I love it. I think it's great. I think it's insane. So I haven't watched Pinocchio yet, but I will, and I'm sure I'll fucking have my mind blown. I
wonderful.
literally just remembered to watch it. But
Wonderful.
It's on the list. So anyways, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah.
That's a solid for sure.
Yeah.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
With you and shaping your
my tendril.
shaping your brain tendril.
Mm-hmm.
Your fungus.
You gotta pick one, I guess.
I know. I mean, you could say. I mean, we've talked about it before, so I'm not gonna say like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
It shaped me for a totally different reason. I'll say this. Let me get into this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I will say The Dark Crystal.
Okay.
The Dark Crystal. At this point, so I've told this story before. My grandmother took me to see The Dark Crystal.
What years
in
Dark
theaters?
Crystal?
It was 1982.
Okay. Yeah. So you're
I'm 5 years old.
Yeah.
At this point, I already am getting Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I already love the Muppets.
Yeah.
I already love the Muppets.
Yeah. We could have a whole Muppets episode too.
100%. We should.
Or just a
my love of
Jim
Henson.
Henson episode. Yeah.
So
We should write that down. We really should do that.
well, I mean, it's.
Do you have it written
I
down?
cannot believe we haven't done a Henson
Yeah,
episode.
it's wild.
How fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
So
I'm just writing it down, people. I'm just texting.
you're gonna hear this a lot, but this is 100% something that helps shape my imagination and my creativity for sure. But Jim Henson's stuff in general, the Muppets in general. But
Yeah.
so seeing The Dark Crystal at 5 years old, I can remember. Again, maybe if you haven't heard the story, I'm gonna tell it right now.
Were you scared?
I wasn't scared. I was
Okay.
never scared of Muppets
Anything.
or Puppety Oddball. No.
Well,
I
no,
was
it's not
scared. I was
Muppets.
scared.
Muppets don't scare me, other than maybe like that giant, with the teeth. And
So
you,
the
roll.
Skeksis have never scared me or
Okay.
anything like that.
Okay.
I was transfixed.
Yeah.
So the Babcock Theater later became the Twin Theater in Wellsville, New York, where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Had a theater below and a theater up top, and so it was playing in the theater up top. But in that theater, it's a really odd. It's kind of set up like this, actually. The screen was on a stage.
I don't think I've ever been to that top theater.
Like walked up in there.
I mean, maybe when we shot something,
Hmm.
but I mean, okay. I never watched a movie there.
Yeah. So top. So it was built very odd. Okay. But before the stage and then the big screen, there's a bar that was like supposed to keep kids from going out onto the stage.
Yeah.
Well, during the Dark Crystal, I was hanging on that bar, watching this movie.
Yeah.
But I could not take my eyes off this
Yeah.
thing. I just thought it was so good. My grandmother, sitting in the seat way behind me, is
hated
like
it.
hating it.
Yeah.
She said, well, actually, after that movie, she stopped taking me to movies.
You
grandma
destroyed her
Pearl.
love of cinema.
No, she was just like, I can't take you to these movies, Christopher. You know, like I don't like
Wow.
these movies.
Yeah.
You know, and then my aunt and my mom.
Yeah.
You know, they did, but my great grandmother was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, what is this fucking weird shit?
Right.
So she did not like.
It's not a general audience sort of film.
But I was
That's
like,
funny.
I literally was just taken away. I was just like, how? This doesn't seem possible. You know, my fucking 5-year-old mind is seeing.
Right.
Everything is just puppets. So it just is like, what is this
Right.
world? This is crazy. So I loved it. The music has always stuck with me. The imagery, everything. Dark Crystal fucking rules. I know a lot of people are creeped out by it. I know a lot of people can't deal with it, and I get that. But it is definitely a movie that shaped who I am, for sure. For sure.
You know, I think I told you I watched it again last year, and I was like, I don't know. I could not get into it.
But did you watch Age of...
I will, and I
Resistance?
have a feeling I'm gonna like it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I have a feeling that will be the thing where I'm like, okay, I don't know what the hell. I'm
But
gonna like
even
about
with a
this.
mind
I know
for creativity,
I
you didn't sit
tried.
there and be like,
Of
My
course,
God,
like
like, they
set
created
wise,
everything.
all that, of course, was like from a filmmaker's perspective, for sure. But the story, I tried.
I get
And
it.
we have like the golden books, so I've read it to Kira a bunch. But like,
I get it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was weird. Okay. Oh, that's the wrong list. Well, it was the list that I just updated.
That was your
Okay, so
voluptuous magazine.
let's see how you feel about this. I wrote down books.
A book that shaped you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or books. So this is gonna be for when I read this was in the 90s, but it absolutely changed my life. It was Interview with a Vampire, and I read that book way before I should have read it. Especially, the themes like the homosexuality and like all of the stuff that Anne Rice throws in there. But I remember when I got that, my dad, he was living in Pennsylvania, and we used to go there for the summertime for like a month or two, my sister and I, and we would work in a barn, and like that's what we would do because my dad was a horse trainer, and there was a lady he worked with, and I think it was kind of one of those like, I don't know what my kid's really into, like he seems to be into this kind of stuff, and she was like, oh, let him borrow this book. And I remember reading it and being like, holy shit. Like, yeah. And, I've always liked vampires. I've always been into vampires.
Yes.
But
You're very picky.
I'm very, I'm not like a rules, I guess. I don't know. We got hired to write this comic about vampires. And, like, you got to shoot people. Like, there's people shooting with guns and killing them. And I was like, are the guns dipped in holy water? Is there crosses on the bullets? Like, oh no,
Are they
there's
wood
guns.
bullets?
And I was like, do their heads come back? Like, because I was like, this doesn't fit the rules. But Anne Rice established very particular rules in those books. And anyway, love the movies, love the TV show now. I have always been a fan of those books, and I remember being a young child, I think I was like 10 or 11, and being like, this is everything.
This is the pinnacle.
of vampiric delights. So yeah, for me, I love vampires. So.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
do. That's cool.
Hmm?
Yeah. Again, I can see that totally. With your love
Just
of
made
the
me
night.
think of another book. God damn it. All right, go on.
But again, you can...
I know, but I was like, I don't remember what it is now.
Yeah. Book, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't a big book reader. I only read books if they
Like
were like
making of?
assigned in school.
Really?
Yeah.
But you're a big reader.
Well, I loved comic books. I read comic books.
Okay.
I would go to the library and take out like The Making of the Dark Crystal or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had a lot of those.
Yeah.
Brian Froud had a lot of those, like this is my art.
Labyrinth and
Yeah,
all.
yeah, shit like that. So
Yep.
you could just go rent that stuff. So I
Right.
do remember renting that stuff. You know, anything like that. Hollywood movie making, like things like that.
Right. Well, we talked about it in the Savini episode. That is a book that shaped you.
Yeah.
I would consider that.
Yeah.
Reading that book and learning the things that that man did, you absolutely took it and applied it to your now 30,
32 years making movies.
Yeah, so I would say that book in particular definitely shaped you.
Yeah. You're right.
So Savini's what is it?
Grand Illusions.
Grand Illusions.
Yeah, the Grand Illusions book. I did talk about that. But so I guess like I don't know. I mean, like in school we read like Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
We read The Hobbit.
Yeah.
I didn't hate them.
Yeah.
I actually quite liked them. I just didn't like how long they were.
The Hobbit's not bad.
The Hobbit isn't. But Lord of the Rings.
That's
The good thing about Lord of the Rings is that they gave us
movies.
they gave us a long time to read it.
Okay.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
We had to discuss them
Yeah.
afterwards, but it wasn't like in 2 weeks you have to have this done.
Right.
Like, no. But yeah, so I guess like I would have, when we get into comic books, I'd have more to say.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So I guess Grand Illusions would for sure be considered something that really fucking shaped me.
Yeah.
And that was the early '90s when I got a hold of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, lady. Video games. Do you want to?
I can do a video game.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before we started shooting, but Mario. I mean, obviously that's one of the first for a lot of people, but
100%.
it has carried on throughout my entire life. I've played every single Mario video game. I've played a lot of his, Mario Kart, Mario Party, Mario Smash, all of it, and then we were talking about someday going to the Mario World at Universal. And then the movie's coming out this year, and it's just like
That's exciting.
Mario's definitely one of those things that Super Mario Brothers 3 is arguably the greatest video game of all time.
It's so bad.
Well, I'm sure you remember. Yeah, when I saw that movie, it's not on the list, but when I saw Wizard,
It was a giant, commercial
advertisement,
for
yeah,
Super
and
Mario
you
3.
saw Super Mario Bros. 3 for the very first time in a movie. I remember in the graphical change, I was like, "This is the pinnacle of video game." You know what I mean? Like, and it's still a great fucking game.
Yeah.
So Mario, hands down. I probably wouldn't love video games as much because it's also I can beat it. A lot of video games are hard.
Yeah.
And especially those Nintendo games, ain't no saves back then. There are lives back then. So if you die 18 levels into Contra, sorry bro, back to the beginning.
So frustrating.
Yeah, so like, until I got a Game
Unless you had
Genie.
that Game Genie.
Yeah. Which I was talking to my sister about it. She's like, I don't remember Game Genie. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
I was
man.
like, that changed video games forever. And I wish they would. I mean, I guess nowadays there's mods
You
and
get
like
those
that's
code
what people
books,
do.
bro.
But yeah, like, and those Mario or Super Nintendo and Nintendo monthlies, like that would have codes and you'd learn about how they made the video game and all that stuff. Like, oh my gosh, I was subscribed to that magazine.
Nintendo Power.
Yeah, Nintendo Power. So, I love all that stuff because of Mario, for sure.
Yeah. So, I think just in general, Nintendo was a big thing anyway for kids in the 80s. Regardless if you were a big gamer or not, because everybody had it. I definitely did.
Yeah.
And Super Mario Brothers was huge. But, my love of those types of video games is 100% from me playing Miss Pac-Man in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about this.
I love Miss Pac-Man. I love it so much I bought a fucking
You can see back there.
original Miss Pac-Man machine.
Yeah. Did you ever put that? I'm sure you have. Like, you fired it up in a video to like show them.
Not in a video.
Yeah, you should.
But when Billy was
Billy
here, we
oh,
were sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
But so again, 80s, you had all those arcade machines, and I was definitely one of those kids who was. Our pizza king had arcade machines.
Did you come down only into Aladdin's Castle?
Yeah.
That was a thing that shaped me when I was a kid.
And actually, you and I had gone there before.
Yeah.
When we were rolling with some of your homies back then.
Yeah.
But my mom reminded me of a story the other day, actually. She said when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, there was a sub shop in Wellsville. I can't remember what it was called, but it was. I can remember when she brought it up. I was like, "Holy shit!" I can remember the sub.
Yeah.
Because like, I've had subs now in my adulthood where the taste of that sub will like shoot me right back.
Yeah.
And I'll remember. I was like, "Oh, that fucking sub."
Yeah.
And when she brought it up, because she used to work at this
sub changed his life.
So she worked at this sub shop,
Yeah.
and sometimes when she worked there, I would get to play free arcade games while she was working. So she'd just put up all these quarters for me to go work, and she was like, "Chris, you would like come to work just so that you would play, so you could play those arcade games." She's like, "And you were at that Pac-Man machine all the time," and I'm like, "Holy shit, yes,
That's funny.
So I would play Miss Pac-Man, like, while my mom was working.
Yeah.
I would just like come and go.
Yeah.
I would just come and go because I would be playing with friends and whatnot. But we would obviously just stop in there and just fucking rock it. So I didn't remember that. I remember different times playing with Miss Pac-Man, but then that brought me, was like, wow, that makes total sense. Because I was a Miss Pac-Man junkie. At the Funland skating rink,
oh yeah,
I would be like, get the fuck away from that machine. I'm going to that machine.
The doors open and
I'd
walk
roll
through.
in. No, I'd roll in on my skates. Take me to the Miss Pac-Man machine.
That's funny.
So yeah, definitely.
Man, there's you just spoke about subs, like Park and Shop subs, man. That tuna fish sub from them. My sister, when she does come to the Southern Tier, she has like Taste-A, Park and Shop. Like she goes to all the places to get those things.
Taste of pizza.
Yeah.
Taste-A pizza.
Taste-A pizza. I mean, my one buddy, when he goes to visit his parents, he buys a sheet from Taste-A and he freezes it, and then he, every few weeks, and he. But to that whole, taking you back and nostalgia thing. Music.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I wrote. I got music, and then I have comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean,
where the hell's my TV? Anyway, so music. I just wrote down Michael Jackson.
Well,
yeah,
he would definitely. I mean, we have plenty to talk about.
I'm sure there's
music.
tons more I could have wrote down, but it was just the first thing that popped up.
I mean, he was my.
That could be another. Why is that not an episode?
It should be its own episode.
It'll be controversial,
but I 100% agree.
Yeah. It sucks because it's so controversial and so divisive, and we don't necessarily subscribe to that idea. But like even my wife was like, I don't know if I really want you to play the videos. Like it's okay if you play the music, and I was like, I really don't believe it. I understand. I got it. I know. I definitely think he had issues.
He was a weird dude.
Yes.
But so what? He did not fucking. As far as I'm concerned, he didn't do what they said he did. Not at all.
And not everyone saes he does. You know what I mean?
No, I know that.
Yeah. So anyway, the point of it is, you couldn't walk without hearing Michael Jackson.
Very much like Star Wars, Michael Jackson was the fucking 80s.
Yeah.
I would say Prince, Madonna, and Michael Jackson. I mean, fuck. Yes, 100%.
Yep.
I will agree.
So,
to this day, I adore
tear up.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, yeah. We watched what is the doc?
This Is It.
This Is It. Not that long ago, like a few years ago. Like my family,
It's
Nish's
tough to
family,
watch
had never seen it.
I own it.
Well, it was great to watch because they had never seen it, and we were all like, because hey,
You can't not.
whatever you say about him, you can't deny the dude was a performer, and he made some of the greatest music of all generations.
That's right.
He was the king of pop, and there is a reason he has that title, and regardless of all the allegations, he ain't never lost that title.
No.
Because you can't deny the music.
It's
So
yeah, man. Michael Jackson is still in my rotation to this day.
oh yeah, for
It's
sure.
I don't know how. Come on. I mean, we all.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Always. Come on.
yeah.
So, yeah, I agree.
What do you want to say, or do you just want to say?
I mean, I would have said Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll get into it.
It
in
was
other
my
episodes.
first cassette tape, the Thriller cassette tape. When Thriller came out, that was my first owned cassette tape that I
Yeah.
was gifted. Michael Jackson's Thriller.
It's just
Fucking.
just great. All right, so comics. There is a lot.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot.
I will say this though. Most of this stuff is from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just say Jim Lee's X-Men. I have a lot written down, but 1992, I believe, right before they came and made Image, and Jim Lee's X-Men #1 is still the #1 selling comic of all time. That one issue. And I remember it, and I still have, because there was like different covers, I still have one of the covers. But I do remember really going, holy shit, because I had been reading some Fantastic Four and Hot Stuff and Richie Rich, and I love Spider-Man and all that stuff, the comic strips as well on Sundays. And I've read X-Men. I've been reading X-Men as well, but usually like what my uncle had. So I was reading a lot more of like the Claremont and stuff like that. But when Jim Lee's X-Men came in, it was like that dude from fucking Mad Max who's standing there doing this to comics.
Fury Road.
Really, to comics. It was like, yeah, this is cool and all, but this guy's gonna fucking be a rock star. And reading that comic and the team and all of this stuff, and then obviously we get the cartoon show and it spurns everything I love of X-Men. But that comic to me is I remember going to what was that lady? There was that little Vietnamese lady who had a comic shop. Do you remember this in Olean? There was Jay's, which was the smoke.
I remember.
It was really
Jay's.
more like a marijuana front.
Yeah, I remember Jay's.
So Jay's is still around.
Oh my god.
There was this lady, and I'll probably end up figuring out her name, but she was on the main street. So like Jay's, you had to go around the corner. She was on the main strip, right near the mall, and she opened up this comic book shop. And I think it was like her husband was rich. She wasn't from America. She had an accent. But she liked comics, and I remember like that was my shop because I would go there and talk to her and spend hours there. And I remember getting that Jim Lee's X-Men there and being like, "This is it." Whew. Anyway, what about you?
Yeah, I mean Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Amazing Spider-Man.
yeah,
That was outside of the Archie stuff,
yeah.
and
All those little,
like you said,
hot stuff.
Oh yeah,
Casper.
100%. Because funny,
What's that
Grandma would
girl,
have
too?
that stuff.
Yeah,
It was Wendy.
yeah.
Um,
Well, she had the stuff that our parents probably read.
yeah,
like,
so
just
when we
down
would
there.
go to Grandma's,
Mhm.
there was stacks of those comics.
Yeah.
So I definitely remember reading those, but I had to been like 6, 7, 8 years old, and I got one of those Marvel subscriptions, and my aunt got it for me. It was amazing. It was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was fucking it for me. Spider-Man was it for me from the time I was 3 years old to
Yeah.
everything Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Like,
Yep.
And then every other comic grew out of that.
Yeah.
And so, and then in the 80s I started drawing comics, my own comics, making my own versions of characters and things like that. When I really started, I started drawing when I was 4, apparently. All of my family says I was like 4 years old,
Oh.
and I used to draw Disney characters. And the Disney characters that I drew the most were the 7 Dwarfs.
Oh, okay.
I loved Snow White.
Okay.
And I just...
Do you still like Snow White?
I
Like,
love...
have you watched it and been like, oh, I remember
What
that.
I love about Snow White is how creepy the witch is. And the witch, and wanting to fucking put Snow White basically in the grave with an apple.
Yeah.
Like, that is so cool and wicked to me.
Yeah.
And so that, I love that aspect of the
Yeah.
story. So that's probably why I've always sort of, when it comes to Disney, I've always sort of said, well, I love Snow White,
Mhm.
I just like how dark some of those those early Disney movies were.
Yeah.
And that's definitely one of them. The music still sticks with me, the high ho,
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
The 7 Dwarfs Mine Train at Disney World
Yeah.
is fun. Like, so yes, I am actually really excited for the Disney live action Snow White that's coming.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is already shot. It's
Will they
already done.
use like little actors? Or
I'm
are
not
they gonna
sure.
make big actors?
I'm not sure what they're doing.
Interesting.
I'm not sure if they are doing that or if it's going to go sort of like CG realistic looking dwarves to make them look more like the cartoon. I don't know what they're doing.
Wow. Interesting.
I just know that breakout star from West Side Story is Snow White.
Oh, that Latina girl?
The main girl.
Yeah. Like, I can't remember, but
Yeah.
I know who you're talking
I
about.
guess she is Snow White.
Okay.
So,
Good.
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
comic books, and
Yeah.
through, like I said, and through that,
Yeah, everything else.
everything
comes
else
out.
followed.
Yep.
Comic
TV.
Yeah, what helped shaped you TV-wise, Casey?
This is the only thing I have written down, but I know there's so much more because we've talked about it throughout the years. But I'm just gonna say for now, Liquid Television.
Again, animation.
Yeah.
He
I always, that's true. I've always gravitated toward animation, but I remember seeing Eon Flux and the Head and the Max,
Yeah.
and I remember being like, I am grossed out, but I cannot stop watching this shit.
Yeah.
So, and it was like adult, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't my normal kiddie tailspin and all that other kind of crap, gummy bears, which I still like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember being like, okay, like this is grimy and like the lines are weird. Like it doesn't look
It was
normal.
adult. It totally
It's
was
adult. So, I was really
It was
sucked
like
in.
Adult Swim before Adult Swim. MTV's animation
Yeah.
block. It really was.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'd say that's true. Yeah.
Outside of the dialogue,
Mhm.
which is far more spicy these days.
Right.
You were getting some gross ass shit in those shows.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely the Head.
I mean, and think about Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, I mean, Ren and Stimpy would be on there for sure.
That was like,
Yeah.
that was
That
kids,
would be
but it was
even you.
adult animation.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah. Ren and Stimpy's great. Still love it. Yeah, Liquid Television for some reason. I mean, I know there's so much
I get
more
it.
that
There
I
will
watched
be, yeah. You
as
will-
a kid.
Believe me.
Yeah.
It'll happen. We'll talk about it.
Mhm.
So for TV, for me, again, I'll have no shortage of things that help shape who I am as a person. But the facts of life.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I'm
Yeah.
gonna talk about different strokes. I'm gonna talk about family time. I'm gonna talk- Facts of Life was 100% like a big one, because a lot of those shows, and again, if you've watched any of the videos, like a lot of those 80s shows, like I was a kid who was put in front of a TV and basically the TV raised
Isn't that
me.
every kid in the 80s?
Well, so like,
because I was. I
to
mean,
an
I know I
extent,
was
yes.
too.
To an extent, yes.
Yeah.
So like, regardless of my family being around,
Yeah.
I still was sort of like, I was a media kid.
Yep.
So I had no problem if they needed to shut me up for any reason or let him do this while I do this.
Mm-hmm.
I loved television. I loved movies. It didn't matter. I was a media-driven kid.
Yeah.
So, but Facts of Life, 100%. I think, one, it was all these girls. I was like, this is great. I like this. The girls were funny.
Yeah.
My Aunt Kathy loved the show, and that's primarily why I was watching.
Well, they're like strong, independent women.
Yeah,
They're not
well,
like shitty two-dimensional characters.
And I talk about that in my Facts of Life centric episode, which you can find on this channel. So I'm not going to get too far into it.
Right, yeah.
But if you watch that, you'll know why it meant so much to me. And that's just one of the amazing TV shows that have meant so much to me. So yeah, Facts of Life is one.
That's all I got.
That's it. I
mean, I don't know what other facets
that's
we
good.
Talk about. So
it helps shape. These are things that help shape.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes me think of all the other. I mean, just like you said, and I think you people who are watching this probably are the same way. As like we consume and consume a lot of media.
Yeah.
And I know, like, other than him, I don't know anyone else who could even get to my level of being able to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's very rare would I ever say something that you wouldn't know. Even if you didn't watch it, you would still know what it is.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, there's times where we're talking to other people, and the group's pretty good, but, like, the normies outside of the group, There's plenty of times where I've mentioned something and someone's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I think you and I are just a unique subset of people who are just like, we know everything about everything pop culture wise, even if we don't like it. Do you know this person, this song? Yeah, I don't like it. But
Punishment Rod.
Of course, there's an episode, La Blue Girl.
That's right.
I was actually just talking about that.
Well, it's funny. Billy was like, "You ever seen a Rutsuki Doji?"
Oh, really?
And I'm like,
I feel like it got bigger.
Yes, Billy, I
Doji
have.
Did. Yeah. I have a couple
and then
of friends who
talking
know
about
that.
Love Blue Girl.
Has he seen it? Did you show
him?
him?
He has not seen Love Blue Girl, but he'd love it. I know he would.
Well, talk about things that probably shaped us, and not the best way, but definitely those animes from back then, in the early 90s, late 80s.
For sure.
And they have carried over for the last 30 years throughout LBP and our vernacular, etc.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
Oh, man. Well, that shut down this whole channel, though, so let's not talk about it.
Well, it's not monetized. It's not monetized, so we're still good, man. We're good.
So if you threw an ad on, you would get money? Like, I don't know how it works. Or you have to reach that threshold of views.
No, we do. I just have never clicked it. I don't want to be monetized.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we can't do as much as we can with not being monetized.
I see what you're saying.
So I'd rather not be monetized.
No, that's
good. I want to be raw, unfettered.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, this is a good list. Yeah, we got to do it again.
That's
easy to talk about this for 2 hours.
Absolutely. Yeah. The pop culture that shaped who we are.
This could go on for centuries. Just one item at a time.
Another 20 years. Perfect.
Yeah.
We got so much material for future shows out of just what we talked about.
Absolutely.
Coming in hot, that MJ episode. Do that.
Let us know what thing shaped you, even if it's not the 80s.
Doesn't have to be, man.
Just whatever. You know what I mean?
You as a human being now, living presently.
Yes.
What are the things that help shape who you are?
Because believe me, we could be saying Saved by the Bell.
We can. We will.
There's tons of things to talk about.
So much stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So interested to hear what other people, what turned them into the humans that they are today.
Yeah.
We've probably heard about it because we weirdly know all this shit about pop culture media.
That's right.
Anyway,
All right.
hit subscribe.
Yeah.
Share it with your friends.
Share with friends if you liked it. If you just popped in now, hit subscribe. Like
Yep.
what you saw.
Yep.
Comment, please.
Yes, we like
Comments
to
help.
interact.
You liking the video helps. It just everything helps the algorithm. You
Yeah.
know, even just saying hi and us saying hi back.
Mhm.
That is helping the locomotion. You know, so.
And you mentioned it throughout the episode, but a lot of the things that we talk about, we have full episodes related to that specific thing. Not everything, you know, we got to do a Henson episode and blah, 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 but Facts of Life is on there.
Yeah, if
you
you
know,
just
Save Us That. Like,
scroll.
so many things are in there.
Just scroll down. We
Yeah.
have so many videos.
Yeah, so definitely take a look through the other stuff. You'll probably find an episode, at the very least, of something that you're into.
Yeah.
It's in there. So,
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that's it. So I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to shut it off.
okay. And you haven't recorded this whole time, right?
No, it's going. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.